Hello everyone and welcome to Leslie Ray's Crafty Gig. Tonight I want to cover a couple of things. We're going to work with a Maya Rhodes album. It's a chipboard album. It looks like this. Has Maya Rhodes' signature emboss on the front. And it opens up like this. And it has 6 panels. And these are really, really cool for doing all sorts of mini albums. And I'll give you some ideas on this as well. But the other thing I want to talk about is distress inks, Tim Holtz Distress Inks. One of the things when I started doing this show is I wanted to spend some time educating people on the different types of inks and the different types of supplies. And since Distress Inks is one of my favorite inks, I thought, why not start there? A lot of people feel like a Distress ink is just like a regular dye ink, and it is not. When these inks were made, they were specifically made to be unstable. Tim Holtz went to the designers at Ranger, the ink designers, the scientists, and said, I want an ink that will react. I want an ink that when I spray it with water, it moves. I want, when it comes in contact with another ink, for it to react. I want it to be wetter so that I don't have to get a special pad to do embossing with. I can emboss with my Distress Inks. And they said, well, that ink would be unstable. And he said, exactly, that's what I want. And they're like, well, nobody will want to buy that ink. And he said, oh, but let's try it. And it took him a long, long time to get the first, I think, 6 or 8 colors released. And when he finally got those released, then it took another couple of years to get actual colors, because the first inks were all browns, and everybody was sure nobody would want all browns, because, you know, who needs 6 different browns? And they were very, very popular. And so when he got the new colors, he had some reds and blues and greens and purples, and people really liked those. And then every time he had them, people would buy the crap out of them, and he would come back and say, okay, let's add some more colors. And I think his collection now has about 36 colors. Mommy, you can correct me or whatever. I'm not certain how many they have now, but there's a lot. And he wants to add a few more, and it's going to take more convincing to get those added. And I don't know, they're really, really cool. Some of the properties, I went over to the Ranger ink, and I'll put this link on my blog later. Some of the properties of this is that it stays wet longer, allowing you to blend and shade and emboss. Other dye inks will dry fast, especially on photos, so you end up with lines and marks if you go direct from the pad with them. It wicks out or spreads when you put them on and spritz them with water. It will really move across the paper or across the surface you have it on. Distress inks will not break down when they're wet or heated, and so you have more control over the finished look when you heat set it. And we're recording, Pam, so go ahead and catch the phone and you can come back later. And the brown color dyes won't break down, so that when you use the brown and you've ran water on it, it won't break down, and you won't have pink and green and the breakdown of the colors. And same with the black, you won't have a purple and a red and all that. It will stay a true color, and that's really, really important. These are like any other colors, and the palette it started out with antique linen, old paper, tea dye, vintage photo, walnut stain. Those were the first ones. And I remember when these came out, I got a vintage photo in my Club Scrap kit, and I thought, wow, this is some cool stuff, and have been in love with them ever since. And then they brought in black soot, fired brick, which is a beautiful red, weathered wood, mustard seed, peeled paint, tattered rose, and milled lavender. And from then on, they have just grown and grown and grown. And I want to show you a couple of things that these do. They're a lot of fun. I will, of course, put all this on my website, put a link to the Ranger ink thing on the website as well. So, are y'all ready? You ready to learn about ink and have fun? I am. Okay, I'm going to move down, so everybody come down with me. All right. Tonight, what I'm working on, this is called a craft sheet. And it's a nonstick craft sheet. Let's see if I can get this in here for you to see. And what makes this important is, or useful, is this is made out of glass, basically, but it's really flimsy feeling. See, I can roll it and stuff, but because it's made out of glass and mine is old, you can see where it's rolled up. It has those creases in it that will always be there. The neat thing about this is you can use both sides. It's not like a Silpat at all, for people who craft sheet, Manda, craft sheet, craft, here we go, look, Manda, craft sheet. Anyway, hi, welcome, Kelly. And what's great about this is I use this all the time for all kinds of things. You can just put your paper or your ink on it like this. Let's try one that has juice in it. Let me see. Sorry, that's the one I need to re-ink. That's my frayed burlap. I use it all the time. Okay, here. You can put colors on it like this and come along and hang on just a second, guys. I forgot to plug in my heat tool. William, plug this in for Mama. Okay, you can put them down here like this and come along with a spritzer. I need it over here with me. Yes, I need the red fan too. Sorry, I have people helping me that are trying to tear down my stuff. Okay, I have in this a mini mister that's a water. And this one's only water. And I know it's only water because I put water in there. Okay, and I've sprayed the water on here. And I'm just going to take a little tag and pick the water up. No, I need it now. Give me the fan, Will. Sorry, technical difficulties. Please stand by. Okay, here we go. And when you dry it, I love this color. This is a great color. Oops, sorry guys, wrong way. Okay, when you dry it, it dries really nice to the touch. Okay, now if I wanted to, I could, that color is burn red, yes, sorry guys. If I wanted to go back in with another color and add more color onto it, I could go in again, do it here, spray on it, lay this down, and this is an easy way to really control it. You barely heard my heat gun. It's a Marvy heat tool, Pam. It is a very nice heat gun. I had a Marvy heat gun before and used it in all kinds of, demos and classes and stuff. And I literally wore it out. And this is one of the best tools ever. I finally had to replace it, and I was very sad when I wore it out, but I replaced it with another one, and I love it. So that's a very simple way of just getting some really neat painterly looking color on a tag. Now, keep in mind, this still has color on it, right? So if I want to, I could, let's add another color. What color do we want to add in here? Let's add some of this dried marigold in here too. And I want to spritz it so they'll start moving and swishing around.
Hang on, don't use your heat gun.
And I'll get some of that color. Get some of that color. Get some of the red. Marvy Cheetah. Mommy carries them in her store. Okay, so that's a really simple way of working on a sheet and then picking up some colors and going at it. And because they react to the water, you can go in and spritz anytime you want to add color, lighten color, make it move. One of the signature things that these inks do. Hi, Sigrid. Is he was very, very popular, and probably one of his highest selling stamps in the whole world was his coffee stain stamp. And one of the things this will do is I just dropped water on this, and that's okay. I dropped more water than I wanted. We'll pick up both messes at the same time, okay? This one, if I stop those drops, you can see them start to dry. And you get the droplets. Let's see. Let's go back over here, guys. Sorry. See how they're dropping? Crafty Farmer. Could that be my hoe? Hi, everyone. We're playing with ink right now if you're just joining us. Hi, Lee. That's Lee Brehan from Create Always, everyone. Glad you could join me. Crafty Farmer, are you Holly? So see, these do, oh, we almost got some really cool stuff going on here. There we go. So see, the neat things with these inks is you can create all kinds of fun backgrounds. Some people, this is not for them. they will never like to do stuff like this. For me, I really enjoy it. I like the different colors. I like how it creates like a watercolor effect. It's really, really cool. Yes, Bev, Create Always is leslierahye. Is everyone else still getting a bunch of ads? I'll slow up a minute if people are still getting a bunch of ads. I know. I love these. We're using the Distress Inks, Lee. The colors I use to make these guys are the Spiced Marmalade, the Dried Marigold, and the Barn Red. And those kind of happen to be matching some of the colors I'm going to use later. What I've done here, I'm working on tags. A lot of times, if you go look at Tim Holtz's site, he uses a lot of tags. Tags are fun to make, but the reason I wanted to use these tags is because I wanted to have really simple, quick samples that I could show you, but also I'm going to use these as bases for some stuff that we're going to put in the little mini album that I'm doing, and I'm going to die cut some, or not die cut, but punch out some of these for some things, and it'll be really cool. I think I'll like how these effects are going to be. So that's one thing you can do with them, okay? So we slap some color on the craft sheet, and we made some little tags. Okay, let me get this picked up for a second. Okay, another thing you can do with these is to take a stencil or a mask. Hang on just a second. I'm the world's greatest person at losing my masks. A mask can be as simple as you cutting out an image and sticking it onto a page. It could be a Post-it note. It could be anything really. And also what I'm going to use is the blending foam on the Ink Essentials tool. Did y'all see where my mask went? It's a really cute mask too. Oh, there it is. Okay, well, shoot. I can't find my mask. Instead, I will use another product, which is to take a punchy. I use this heart punchy and use another item here. And what I'm going to do is make a mask by putting these punches on top of here. And you'll understand better after I do that. I want to use something that will hold while it's on there, but will lift when I'm ready for it to lift. Okay? So I'm just using my little tape runner, and I'm making sure on this smallish heart that I can okay, can you see what I did? don't think it's under my mat. Nope, it isn't. I looked. Oh, I bet I know where it is. I bet it's in this stack right here. Nope, it's not. Like I said, you can also use a sticker. So, I'm going to use one of these peel-off outline stickers like Fab loves to use. I think these are so gorgeous. I have this beautiful dragonfly one. I'm going to use that as a mask also. Okay. Alright. And what I'm using here is a blending tool. And it's just this foam stuff. Okay. The thing to remember with the blending tool is you're going to use a circular motion. You're going to start on the outside and move in. Okay? Start on the outside, move in. And I want to use some peeled paint. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to use peeled paint on the dragonfly. And I'm doing this and moving in and across it. I'm starting off of the thing and moving on. Now, why am I starting off of the side? Well, the reason I'm starting off on the side and moving in is because if I didn't, if I came at it like this, okay, and I started right here and then started, I'm always going to have that outline of the original impression of putting down my ink. It will never ever go away, okay? So by starting off the side, I can better control my edge and I don't have this really straight impression of my sponge, okay? Yes, peeled paint. Love peeled paint. Okay, we did a little of that. I want to add to him some tumbled glass or shabby shutter. No, I want to add back in some shabby shutter. Shabby shutter is a lighter green, and I want to start over here. Peeled paint is a green color. Yes, it's this kind of not olivey color. It's just got a nice darker texture to it. The shabby shutter color next to it. Shabby shutter is kind of a limer color. Keep in mind when I did this, I still have some of the peeled paint on it, but this is a limier color, and this has a little bit more brown in it. So anyway, added green on green. I know y'all are going, ooh, green on green, but there's method to my madness. I like green, but I wanted to bring it in a little bit, and I'm going to add a little bit of tumbled glass, which is a blue. It's just a really light blue. It's a great snowman blue. And I've got my colors worked on there. I kind of like how they're going. And then I want to add in, are you going, Fab? Night night. Talk to you later. And I want to spray or add some drops. And this time, instead of dropping directly out of the bottle onto my guy, I'm going to drop it from my hand so I don't just go ahead and water him down. You see, I'm doing all my altering while my mask is still on there. And so when I go and I take this mask off, Okay? I know, isn't that fun? Now, I could have started with a lighter color underneath it, put my mask on top of it, and built up the colors and done all the stuff. So, there's very, very different ways you can treat that. Now, with my punchies that I have over here, same idea. I want to do a little red with them, so I'm going to change my blending pad, but I'm going to leave it. I do not recommend that you try to wash those out. You can keep them and rub them and use them or whatever. One day I'll have enough of these to have a lot of blending pads, but right now this is what I have. I'm going to use some spun sugar, which is a light pink. And again, off and on. It's a very pale pink. Okay, and now I want to add in, I could reuse the dragonfly for another project. I'm probably going to use it on the project I'm doing tonight, Bev. There's method to my madness. I'm going to send you, what, Lee? A tag with a dragonfly on it. Anyway, now I'm using a little worn lipstick. I love the names of these. And then I might go in here with a little bit of barn red. Hey, lady. Welcome, Muffy. Okay. Now, once again, I can spritz. And dry. Do it while the mask is still on. Now, while we're doing this, look at, let me close my ink before I dry my ink out this way. Hi, Misty. Look at what this is doing down here to the pink and the green. Can you see how they're reacting? And then when I take these off, well, if I don't rub it with my hand, sorry about that, guys. When I take these off, I have this is my adhesive. I was rubbing at it, which is not a smart thing when you have a red finger, so I'm going to stop. But if I didn't have a red finger, I'd just rub it and it would be all good, okay? So that is just using something simple. Now, for a mask, you could make your own. You don't have to use punchies. You could cut out interesting little shapes, little flowers. You could do this on a larger scale with handmade snowflakes, all kinds of fun stuff. Welcome to the people just coming into the room. Right now, we're looking at distress inks and some different techniques you can do with them. I'm just making a couple of little tags, playing around with masking and coloring and that kind of stuff. Now, another cool thing, and then we're going to leave these for a while, and I'm going to let you, I'm going to do two more, and then we're going to leave this for a while, and you can pick up some, and then we'll come back and we'll do a more advanced kind of thing. I want to go back and do some more pink on here, maybe. Yeah, let's do pink on here again. I'll do 2 more techniques and then we'll go on to our book because I want to get through that tonight. I'm going to put on here some spun sugar. And some wild honey. Which is a really nice warm yellow color, which is not something you often hear me say because I'm kind of anti-yellow and orange, but this is a nice color. I want some more lipstick. You could, Trexie, have 1 per color. I certainly do not. They come in a package of 10. How much is the package of 10, Mom? Do you remember? Mommy will look that up for us. I'm sorry, Raven, that you get booted. $3.49. Package of 10, not... Oh, it says $5 right here. Hello. Isn't that interesting? But anyway, they last a long time, and I usually try to keep them in color families. So if I'm doing pinks and reds, I try to keep my pinks and reds on there. Tonight, because I'm being lazy, honestly, I did not change it. So, and then maybe put a little spiced marmalade on there because I think that would be pretty. Kind of going back to the colors we were working with a while ago. And now what I want to do is I'm going to take a rubber stamp. And it could be any rubber stamp. It could be an acrylic stamp for that matter. I am just going to have this one that says love. I think I want to put a little more red on here before I do this. And you'll see here in a second why I want some more color. Because I have it fairly dark. So, here you go. I have this fairly dark. Alright. Living on the edge, right? And I'm going to mist my stamp. And then I'm going to stamp it. And raise it up and dry. Now, if you do like I did and do a word, make sure it's a word with big enough letters, because you'll see what happened to this one in a minute. But you can see if this was darker, you would definitely want a bigger word. This word says love. There we go. But it will, when you mist it, it will take away some of the color because these mix with the colors and affect with the colors. Do that again? Okay. Let me find a bolder stamp. Hang on. Oh, I know what we can use. Let's use a clock stamp. This will be fun. I'm taking a regular stamp. Okay. I'm going to ink it. Well, first I'm going to clean it because if I don't clean it, what's on it will come off on my card. So hang on. And it's got brown. This stamp had brown ink in it. I'm going to go right here in the red. Okay, I just used water, guys. Sprayed water on it. I have missed you, Sandy. Okay, can y'all see it coming in? Sorry. There it goes. Okay, can you see how it took away where we were hitting it with the water? That is way cool. I love it. The darker stuff you use, like if we did this with black, let's do this with black. Oops. It's really good Velcro, people. Really good Velcro. Let's do some with black. There we go. Okay. This is black soot. I stole this from my mama because she loves me. I love the way it looks like I've been playing in the ashes when I use this. Okay. Black soot. I spritz my stamp. And I'm going to stamp right on it. Yeah, I don't think I would want to spray bleach in a mister, because if it got in your eye, that would be not good. That would be really bad. Let's see, this is in my way. I'm trying to find where y'all are. Yes, and in your lungs. There are certain things you should never put in a mister. Alcohol inks is one. Bleach is another. Oh, that's really cool with the black. I like that too. So, that's just stamping simple water. Here's some red ones that we did with a word and a stamp. And then here's the black one, or the black soot. So, fun ideas to do there. And then the last thing I want to show you is, because these stay wet, okay? They stay wet longer. You can do fun stuff with anything that would be wet. One of the things, which I'm not going to show you today, but we'll play with this next time, is that you can do, oh, what am I trying to say? I'm sorry, guys, I lost my words. Because they stay wet, you can use it like an embossing pad. So instead of using like a Versamark pad or whatever, and they do have Distress ink embossing pads, but because they stay wet, You could stamp with a color and then go over with your clear embossing powder and have that color be what you emboss, and it will stay. The other neat thing is that you can stamp a color, and so like maybe I want to stamp with the black soot. I'm going to stamp the word love. Okay. I'm going to drop the word love, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to stamp the word love. So I'm going to stamp the word love. And because this is going to stay wet for a minute, I can get some Perfect Pearls medium. And now I need just a little bit. Hang on, because I was busy fussing with the lid. There we go. I can rub over it, and it will pick up that color. Yes, Lee, everybody needs them. Okay. So you understand what I'm saying? Because it's wet, it's held the Perfect Pearls, and so I can rub it, and it's still latched on to the Perfect Pearls. Okay? Perfect Pearls is cool. It will bind with anything wet, any water, so that it has the binding in it, unlike Pearl-Ex. Pearl-Ex, you would need to put a separate binder in it for it to correctly bind with something and stay onto your paper. So, does anybody have any questions how we did those? Yes. The dollar stamp is a Studio G stamp. Just says love. Okay, so we made some fun little tags, did a little masking. Pearl-Ex, if anybody ever bought the mica pearls that were in Stampin' Up, those are Pearl-Ex pearls. Whereas the Perfect Pearls looks like this. And they're from Ranger. Night Dawn. So, some stuff we did here with our inks, okay? Now, what I want to do is show you, this is how this book that we're working on came. And it has 6 panels, and it has these really big, nice jump rings in them. Night Dawn. And so, what you do is, rather than trying to work around the jump rings, you get your pliers out. And I've already covered several of these, so you don't have to sit here and watch me. Yes, I can zoom out a bit. Thank you for reminding me. You get your pliers out, and you take the jump rings off. And that way, you can work on the boards without them having the jump rings in the middle of them. So I've already pre-covered several of these for you with this basic gray paper stack. And the paper stack I'm using is called Lime Ricky. And it's by Basic Gray. It's 6x6. Lime Ricky is one of my favorite, second only to Color Me Silly. And it has beautiful papers in it. And like it has this beautiful one. This one I don't like so much, but the rest of the pad makes up for it. I like the dots and the squiggles. I love this one. See, this is going to match some of these little tags that we were making with the reds and stuff. Yes, love Lime Ricky. The stripe is my absolutely favorite one. I saved that one last for us to cover. And then it also comes with solids, just like the regular basic gray does. And so we have some blue solids and green solids. And I'm going to use those for some other things. And yellow. Sigrid, there's yellow. And here's some more of them. This is probably one of my favorite pages in it besides the stripes. It's the one with little birds. It's a lot of fun. And the circles. Of course, I'm big on circles. Yes, I love the texture on the solids. I'll show that again here in a second. And then, interesting, some of the pages are very old looking. All the stuff comes distressed looking on the edges. I didn't do that. It came that way. And then, you have all the edges are really nice. And this matches perfectly the big set. Has a nice orange. Yes, I said nice orange. And love the red. The red is just beautiful. And so, it comes with all these wonderful colors. And you can, put them together. They mix and match. They work really well together. You may or may not, want a certain one or whatever. So you can skip it, give it to your friend. I like the birds. You can send those to me. So ship it to someone who doesn't have it because they want it. I wouldn't know anybody like that. So anyway, so far I've used most of these. And I'm going to take my pliers out. And the way you open a jump ring, give them to Samantha. Samantha is asleep right now, or she would be over here helping me. But you do this like you would do jewelry on your own wrist or whatever. To do a jump ring, always twist to open it, okay? And I'm going to put this jump ring right up here above the camera. So, well, I was going to. So it doesn't fall in my workspace. So I can find it later when I need it. And, again, twist. Yes, it ran away. Okay, so these are already done. Alright. Now, what I want to make tonight with them is I'm going to make a book for my husband and I. Our anniversary is Monday. We'll be married 19 years. And I kind of like him. So I'm going to make this. And I had found some quotes that I really liked. And I shared them with him and told him to pick out his favorites. And interestingly enough, he picked out the ones that I really like too. So I guess that just goes to show we're still together on the same page. Now, here's a thought. One of the things that I thought you could do with this is, since there are 6 pages, you could make a calendar so that it hung on your wall, okay? And you could have like January, February, right down the sides on here. Put a pocket in here so that you could stick stuff in it. Okay? You can stick pictures, notes, whatever. Thank you, Pam. Another thing you could do is chore lists for the week. Or you could do, any kind of thing that you could put individual letters on here. You could get a second one if you needed more than 6 letters and take the end off of one And then you would have, 4 more sheets. Okay? There's lots of, you can, mix and match these, add more to it to make it longer. These are very easy to cover, but I wanted to show you how I cover them in case you look at this and you're like, I really just don't know, because I've known that myself. I want to put a solid one on my cover. I think I want to use the green for the solid. Or maybe that's red. I don't know. The green. I'm going to use this green for the cover. And then I'm going to use the stripe on the next one over. So here's on the inside of my cover. I have blue. I'm going to turn it over. Yes, they'd be great for baseball, pictures, any kind of thing that you would want to hang. It would hang really, really good. It also stand up really, really good. See, it stands up real nice. Okay. So, not touching it, standing on its own. It's a really cool little album. Yeah, it definitely caters to feminine and masculine. And they're bright colors. We're a bright color kind of people. Our wedding, when we got married, the color of my shirt is kind of a teal color that I'm wearing tonight. That was one of the colors in our wedding. That and a really bright pink. We're people who like color. And I like the way this distressed edge looks. So this is where I'm going to put mine. And you could get out your brayer, or you can get out your bone folder and just push this down real good. Yes, this would be a great thing to do. You could write a little story. I know Amanda's always writing some cool stories. You could write a story and make a little board book for your grandkids or your children and put it on here. And I just cut around. And if I'm not getting really, really close to the edge, that's okay, because I'm going to come back here in a minute with some sandpaper and sand off the edge. And I guess the sandpaper that I wanted to use ran away with the mask and is hiding. Okay, another invention. Okay, I would have sanded, but since I don't have the sandpaper, I'm going to use the edge of my scissors, and this will work the same way. What I'm doing is getting this edge to just go away, kind of smoothing it down. Yes. There's another board album that they have that has like little tabs on it. It's cute too. And then I think, Mommy, don't you have a train album also that's shaped like a train? What size these are? I have a ruler. It did not run away with the sander. It is, I think it's 5 3/4. Yes. It's 5 3/4 by 3 3/4. Yeah, and you could cut your own chipboard. Another thing that would be really cool is if you have a die cut machine like a Sizzix, you could take these and on the cover cut a hole out of a shape or whatever, and then you could have like a peekaboo through there. So, alright, so there's that one. and then our stripe. And I've played with this back and forth. I can't decide if I want the stripes to go up and down or side to side. I kind of like up and down. Sandy, you have no chipboard? Shame, Sandy. I think the chipboard that Mommy carries in the store is almost the size of this Maya Road chipboard. It's really thick chipboard. Actually, she has two, I think. Mommy's telling us about her wine carriers. At the store that she shops at, they're beautiful. They have like grapes and countryside scenes on them. And I think they fit like 4 bottles of wine in each carrier. And I think she goes in sometimes to buy the wine so she can just take the carriers home with her. The carriers are really cool. And they're kind of corrugated, aren't they, Mommy? They would make, Dawn's already left, but they would make really cool cardboard little boxes and stuff. Dawn makes some really neat upcycled cardboard containers for her craft room. And those would be really, really fun to use. Every time I have more than one drink at Sonic, I will ask for a carrier so that I can upcycle them and make containers and gift boxes out of them. I've been collecting them. Hopefully I'll have enough for Christmas. Cereal boxes, yes. Amanda's the queen of things built with cardboard. You should see on her website some of the things that she's made with cardboard. I was looking for something about web stuff the other day, and I was looking on her blog at her tutorials. Or no, I was looking at her Facebook at some of the pictures she had posted. And she made for her daughter a doll high chair out of corrugated cardboard. It was awesome. Okay, so we have those. And this can go back together. Oh, look. My mask. We'll use this in a minute. If I ask you where it is, it's over here to the right by the paper, okay? The mask knew I was looking for it. Okay, this is my cover. Where's my book? Okay, I want those to go together. Now, what I've done is I have gone through, found some quotes that I enjoy and that my husband enjoys. One of them is some words to one of the songs that we love. Not the whole song, just parts of songs. I brought them into a Word program and I reformatted the font on them because I went to some quote sites and to song lyric sites and got these. And I reformatted them, put on there who they were by, and have printed them off on some white cardstock. And the reason I printed them off on white cardstock as opposed to some color is because I'm going to then take them and use my inks to color them a little bit or stamp on them or whatever, and add them to my book. Then I also, and the way I formatted them also is I put them on labels. I went into my word processor and I told it I have labels that are 10 to a page, which is also the same as like if you were doing business cards. Business cards are often 10 to a page. And so I did them 10 to a page. And so when I printed them out, and I only did 6 of them for tonight, but I could have done all of them, but they look like this. Okay? And so they're different fonts, and we're going to cut those out and work with those. The other thing I did was I went into Picture Manager for Word, and Word Picture Manager has a couple of settings where you can print your pictures, specified sizes. Like you want 4x6s, so it'll print 2 4x6s. Or you want 5x3s, it'll print 4 5x3s. And so I've had those print up, and I picked out a couple of wedding pictures of ours that I really, really liked. And then this spring, when we went looking for bluebonnets, we didn't find bluebonnets, so we ended up back at the Historical House Museum here in Stephenville. And we went over to the Tarleton House, which is one of the houses that are on the Historical House Museum. It's beautiful, wooden house, beautiful structure. And my son took some pictures of my husband and I. And so I have some of those that I want to put in here. And then also, I have some stamps that I've collected that I really enjoy and that speak to me as fun stamps about our relationship. And I want to put those in there too. So I've got those. So that's what we're going to be putting together. It's 9 o'clock. So everybody hanging in there? Doing good? Anybody need to smooch? I'm fixing to put my gloves on because I just thought of that too, Mama. You're right. They're right here. I was trying not to get ink all over them, Mommy, because I need, another pair. Okay, fine. I'm putting them on. Okay. These are my gloves. If you frequent Amanda's show, you saw her wearing hers earlier. They have holes in them. Right now, mine have stuff on them because I've been working like a crazy woman. But they come in green. I think they only come in green. I got mine at Joann's with a coupon. But we're looking to get these in the store also because these are very nice because I know I need at least 2 pair. They are awesome. Very, very awesome. I have a real hard time with my hands going numb while I'm working. And so I needed something. They match my book. I needed something so that I have a better control over the arthritis in my hands. So like I wore them this weekend and I cut a whole bunch of vegetables that normally when I finish doing the cutting for these vegetables, my hands are out of commission for about 2 days. And they weren't. And then I sat and I did a bunch of wire jewelry stuff where I was constantly twisting my hands and gripping and stuff for about 7 hours straight. And it didn't hurt at all. They'd be great for crocheting, Lee. I crochet till I can't feel, and they're awesome for that too. Okay, so what I did is I put these on here, and I roughed up the edges or sanded them. Okay, and I want to put a little ink on the edges because they need ink. They bother me, and so I'm going to use my frayed burlap. And because, as we discovered earlier, my frayed burlap is needing some love. I just had my re-inkers here. And I put them over here. I have a frayed burlap re-inker. Yay, I do. I'm going to re-ink my pad. I use frayed burlap a lot. Yes, Lee, you really need these gloves. Amanda, did you tell them about your hands? Amanda also abuses her hands like I do. And she shared with me that she had no feeling left in the last 2 fingers. And her middle finger on her hand was also starting to be affected by feeling because of carpal tunnel and I guess arthritis as well. And she put these on and immediately the feeling came back into her hands. And how many years has it been since you've had feeling? Yes, frayed burlap is awesome. If I could just open the darn bottle. There we go. They really want it to stay in there. Yeah, 5 years she's been without feeling. And so, I mean, that's pretty cool. I know when I wear them, my hands don't hurt after I craft. And I will craft until I can't feel anymore. When I was working on my master's thesis, I would type until I couldn't feel my pinkies. And then I would have to stop. So I bet typing would be awesome now with these on. But one of the things that always kills me is the action of cutting vegetables. And so if I cut enough vegetables for spaghetti and I still have the ability to use my hands the next day, we've accomplished something really incredible. So, alright, so re-inker. Re-inkers are awesome. If you've never, ever used re-inkers in your life, every time I buy a pad, I try to buy a re-inker. One, because I really like the color of the pad, and I want to be able to have more of it. But the other thing with re-inkers is you can make your own ink or misters. You can get these little mini misters, and all I did was put water in here, a couple of drops of re-inker, and a little bit of the perfect pearls in there, and you have your own, sparkly misters. Your what do they call those? They have a name. Anyway, a company makes them, and everybody loves them. But this is fun because you can make your own. So, and then there's lots of fun things you can do with misters that we'll get into that another day. Glimmer Mist. Thank you, Mommy. Okay. There's a couple of ways you could get your ink on the edges of these. One is that you could take this, now that we have a nice fresh re-inked pad, and do it like this. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but myself personally, I like to grab it and just go for it. And hindsight is always 20/20. Probably would have been easier to do this with it off, but this is fun too, guys. So, ink your edges. I'm going to do a couple of pages so you can kind of get the idea. And then I will show you the finished one on my blog so that you won't have to sit here and watch me do all of these. But I want to do the cover and then do a couple of pages in. So what I've gathered together is I've got my papers that I have already covered the Maya Road chipboard with. And all these pages came together in one paper pack. I didn't go collect a bunch of pages. I have the one paper pack. And then I have collected some tags that I've been inking up and playing with. I have collected some flowers that I want to put on here. Because even though it's masculine, we can have flowers because it's for both of us. I've collected some quotes and lyrics that speak to my husband and I, and I've collected some pictures. I've collected some stamps together that have some neat little quotes on them. So I've collected some ribbon. Very good, Mommy. I actually have some ribbon, Mommy. Yes, there's buttons behind me. There are always buttons. I have brads out. Several years ago, and I may make another one of those to show y'all how to do this because it's a lot of fun. You can take, well, I'm almost done. You can take library cards, the envelopes that library cards go in, library card pockets, and you can make a, yes, Lee, P.S. Harris is really my mommy. You can take library cards and make a book with them, and several things you can do with the book. You can make it like a minder for your anniversaries and birthdays and put cards in there that keep up with that kind of stuff. I made one for myself when we went on a trip to keep up with our receipts and all that kind of stuff. And for my mom sends me funny quotes and stories and you know, ponderable quotes and things that she really likes. And I collect them. I have an envelope in my email box that says Keepers for Mommy. And the ones that really speak to me about her, I put in there. And I had a bunch of these one time, and I went in and put it together, a book, and the tags were created very similar to the tags that I have here, and they were tricked out with bling. Oh, that's what else I have. I have bling. They were tricked out with bling and flowers and little punchies and all kinds of cool stuff. And I think she keeps that near her computer. Misty and I were even in an orchestra together. Lo, those many years ago. So, I see you said your mom gardens, Lee. You could take pictures of her flowers, or, you know, flowers and things that she's planted, and, you know, for a year, and put those pictures in here, and kind of write little things on them about the photos, or have it where she could write stuff on them. And since it stands up, it would be really cool to have something like that. So, or quotes, or anything like that. So, yeah, I love these kinds of little albums. These make me very happy. Okay, so, starting from the beginning, I want to, I think, put a quote on the top. There's a quote here that says, "True friendship comes when silence between two people is comfortable." And that's one of the things I've always said. My husband is someone who makes me laugh. Not every day, but most days. And I really know that when we grow old together, we will be sitting around laughing and having a good time. Because we can joke and enjoy each other. So, I want that on there. On the front. Because that speaks to us. And so, I'm going to cut out my quote. I'm just eyeballing it, guys. I'm not getting hypersensitive about how much it is, or where it is, or any of that. And I think on my cover, I want to use part of my tag that has this butterfly. Or not butterfly, what do you call this? Dragonfly. Okay. Now, I've just torn off the dragonfly because I want him. I want to get a little more ink up here around the edges. And with that, I'm going to kind of add it. That was kind of random, Amanda. Just a yep in the middle. Sandy is here because Sandy loves me. Right, Sandy? Has everybody joined my fan club over on Facebook? Two bits. Oh, you love me 2 bits. I was thinking, oh gosh, she's saying I'm worth 2 bits. That's not very nice. Okay. Yeah, I like that now. Okay, so I've added a little more ink to the edge of that. I want to add some ink to the base here. And I'm going to go in with a lighter color. I'm using this tumbled glass. Ooh, I have an idea. I got a new toy at convention that I've been making some things with, and I really, really like it. I'll get my card and show you. And with these colors, I think I want to come in with them. Oh, you want to see it now? Okay, I can do that. What I got at convention was this new cool stuff. And see down here? The sand and the pebbles. It's called mud puddles. Yeah, isn't that cool? And the ink is called tumbled glass. And these are little sea glass pebbles. And I'm thinking that would be really cool on the cover of this book. But I want to put it on close to last. So I'm not going to do that right yet. But I'm looking at this, seeing how I want this. And I don't mind it hanging off. Probably what I want to do, since it's going to do some hanging off, is add some fiber to that. And not the kind of fiber that you would for your diet, but maybe some string, like these, or like that. Okay, not the red fuzzy hair. That can go back in there. Okay, I like those. And you've got 50 stamps now, Sandy? That is way cool. Ladies and gentlemen, when I met Sandy, how many stamps did you have? Like maybe 3 or 4? 1? She didn't have many. And a couple of us were talking about, if we didn't like something on the stamp, we would just whack it off. And she started crying because she couldn't see why we would dare, trim our stamps because, they're her babies. And so we promised her that it wasn't cruel and unusual punishment, that it made the stamp better to live with. Because, sometimes they put stupid things on the ends of stamps and you don't want to live with that. And so you need nicer things by your stamps. And so that's what we tried to explain to her. And now she's branched out and she has a little more stamps. So she might kind of understand now. So stamp cutting is still murder. Well, sometimes stamps are just hard to live with what they say, and you need them to say something else, Sandy. So, you took them off the wood. Oh, see, I love them being on the wood. I love to hold the wood. But I have quite a number also that are mounted on foam mount and are not on the wood. And I like them too. I like rubber stamps better than acrylic stamps any day. I like the longevity that they have. I have quite a bit of clear stamps, and by quite a bit I mean like probably 2 file cabinet drawers full. And I find them, especially the older ones, to be getting in worse and worse shape. They're not sustaining life as well as I would have liked them to. They just are not. And I recently went to use one, and it was not the same quality as when I bought it, and it did not it didn't give me the same image that I have. So there are some acrylic stamps that I just have to have, and then that's the only way they come, and so I have to have them. But more and more, I have a ton of rubber stamps, and I really love them. I would not trade them for anything. Okay, I've inked up. I have a little love tag right here. I've got my frilly thing going here with that on it. And I may stick this here. I kind of like that there. Where's my stapler? If you were a stapler, where would you be? You'd be by, I would think I would be up here. Yeah, you'd think you couldn't lose a pink blinged out stapler. Nope. Oh, here we go. There's a pink blinged out stapler. I think it even has pink staples in it. It has no staples in it. No, it has pink staples in it. Ooh, it has hot pink staples in it. Let's change that out. Let's change that. Let's go for, I'm going to put some yellow staples in here, because what I'm working with, I think the yellow would be less obtrusive. I love pink too. I love my blinged out stapler too. The blinged out stapler is full of fail tonight. What is up? Ah. Okay. Staple jam. Haha.
I got this pink thing right here.
They don't want to. Okay, here. This goes on her
Emma dog.
Her Emma dog. Okay, yes, that is Sam. All right. So I have this to go in here. So I'm going to stick this down. You can stick this down with your favorite glue or glue dots or pop dots. I'm going with my Craft 3-in-1 because I like it. And sorry, I keep getting attacked by things that want to be on the book. I'm using foam squares. If I'd have had mounting tape, I could have used mounting tape. I don't want to round the corners off. I like it kind of square. Because I have rounded corners here. So I'm going to go with the square. I have inked the corners. I've inked the sides. You ink everything. I ink most things. I inked the white cardstock, so it's not white anymore. But I like the edges on this. And these are really good glue dots, in case anybody was wondering. And I know this is over part of my dragonfly, but I'm okay with that. Okay.
I like dragonflies.
And Sam likes dragonflies, in case y'all were wondering. I know you were. You were saying to yourself, I wonder if Sam likes dragonflies, weren't you? I don't have to worry about inking my hubby because my daughter, if my hubby falls asleep, she will do that for me. Oh, okay. Sorry. Hang on a second, guys. I have lost y'all on the chat. The problem, Sandy, is she knows she's cute. There we go. Okay, now I can see you. Well, it kind of depends. It can be wrong because she uses that to her advantage. You see.
I got your Phyllis.
Okay, go on. Okay, I want to use some flowers. And my mom has... Ooh, Mommy, the pearls you gave me. That would be fun. Okay, here's some cool little flowers. I like those flowers. And some brown flowers. And one of these big giant flowers. I'm going to just pull this off. Okay. Alright. Okay. We're going to come back in a minute. I want to show you kind of what I was thinking. Alright. We're going to come back in a minute and glue some flowers down. But I'm going to need to glue those down with my heat gun. And I don't want to do that right now. The quote says, true friendship comes when silence between two people is comfortable. So, I'm going to come back. We're going to glue some flowers at the end, okay? So, right now, I'm going to leave this kind of the way it is because I want to glue some flowers and maybe put like a little butterfly on there. So I want to start with one of these pictures from our wedding. And I have a quote here, which is from the song that I cry at every time I play it, but I still love the song. It's from When You Say Nothing at All, by Alison Krauss. She's the one who sings it. And it's the refrain of the lyric that says, "The smile on your face lets you know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you'll catch me if ever I fall. You say it best when you say nothing at all." And I want to use that with one of the bridge pictures. Oh, I know, Sandy. Flowers and the pearls. I went to Mom's house for convention. The convention was in Arlington. And I went to her house, and my goal at convention was to find some inexpensive flowers. And I couldn't find flowers hardly at convention that were what I wanted. And so I was getting kind of bummed about the whole thing. And Mom said, "Oh, I've got some pretty brown flowers at home." And so I went home, and she hooked me up with some really pretty brown flowers and some real pretty pearls and stuff. This pink is light enough that I can just go directly on this. And I want to add just a little bit of sparkle to it. And so I'm going to use my pearl, perfect pearl. It's called Pearl, and it's a perfect pearl. Maybe before the ink dries. I had a dream the other night that Prima closed their doors. Oh no. I went to touch Prima flowers. I went to the Prima booth, and the flowers I wanted, which were kind of the papery kind, the lady wanted to sell to me for really, really expensive. Really expensive. Like, make your jaw drop expensive. And I told her very politely, "Yeah, I'm going to look around and I'll be back. Thank you for letting me know you have those." And we went around the corner, and this guy had flowers very similar to what she had for like $1.50 a bundle. And she was wanting about 3 times that. Now, you can guess where I bought my flowers, right? How much are Primas in Canada, Muffy? Misty? Wow. Okay, see that's what the pearl does? See if I can catch there you go. You see the little bit of shimmer there? Yeah. Love pearl. Pearl just adds the perfect amount of shimmer to it. Have that there. We had the best photographer at our wedding. She did such beautiful things. Beautiful pictures. We were very lucky. Bill and I were hanging out over here by this bridge, chatting it up. We were laughing because one of our friends who had gotten married before us came, and she was about 400 weeks pregnant and waddling around. We were wondering if she was just going to go ahead and drop while she was there, but she didn't. So we were glad she didn't. But she was very, very pregnant. And I like that there. Now, not every page is going to have a picture on it. I just don't want every page to have a picture on it. I mean, they could. And I could turn, my quotes this way if I wanted to. This one I want going there. Okay. And on this page, I want to use some of my basil bling. I have that basil bling that I really, really like. And I have the pearls here, my pearls. And I have this basil bling. And because I did the pearl on there, I want to use the pearls. Now, the pearls don't normally come all mooshed up like this. This is what happens when you have a Sam in your life. So, know that they come in nice straight little rows normally. I know, I love pearl bling, and I love the basil bling. The basil bling comes in so many cool colors, and it always comes with a line of dark and a line of light for each, and it's awesome. Oh, no, she's not a poor Sam. She's a silly Sam. So, I'm going to use some of these lighter pearls. And I want to put a couple down here. How's everybody doing? Okay, good. I think y'all could stick with me for about 20 more minutes. I am using my pokey tool. It's got a better name than a pokey tool. It's a craft punch. Thank you. Sin would say it's a stabby tool, but it's not a stabby tool. It's a pokey tool. And it has a retractable edge, so, now there's nothing there. But you can poke it out. This is also what I use to get the paper off the backs of my Pop Dots. And you ask yourself, why is this woman putting 5? Because I'm tired of looking at the ones with the 3 dots down the side. The 3 dots are starting to bother me. And so I'm doing 5. And I'm changing size to go on this side over here. And I love these little pearls. They're just, you get like 6 of the same size of each size, even the big ones. And these little packages are just kind of perfect for, 1 or 2 projects. And you don't feel like you're overwhelmed with a whole bunch of the same color and size of dot. Or a slew. Wait till I show you a slew. Now, keep in mind, though, I love these, and I have a pink person in my life, and we will use them. It's not like it's a weird color. But at Walmart, over in the floral section, you can get a sheet of bling like this. There's 240 pieces of bling on here. And I think it's like $2. So I have a pink blingy girl, and she comes up to me and asks me for bling occasionally. So I like that. So that's what I have so far. Okay. And then I want to use some flowers, but these I'm going to pull off and take apart and put a brad in them, because and I'm going to use, glue or glue dots to stick them down, because unlike the ones that are going on the cover, they don't need to be that dimensional. And so, let's see here. Here's my brads. Go with those. And if you haven't ever taken a flower apart before, it's not painful. It's not flower side. You just yank it apart. Where are we? Here I am. I'm going to pull. Okay. Now, there I have my petals, okay? And I want 2 of them. You could also cut really close to the base, like this, with your scissors, instead of pulling. That seems to work easier with these flowers. Different flowers have different things. And see, look at this. This is fun. This has 4 petals here and 2 petals of the other little one, so this will be lots of fun. And I'm going to use some, since I used pink on this, I'm going to use some of these large pink brads, like this, as my flower centers. No, Sandy, the flowers were not screaming. They weren't. I didn't hear them. They didn't go, "Ow, flower, ow." They didn't say that. They said, "Oh, yes, much better. It will make us a happier flower being in the book if we are not so fat." And because I want to use these as an embellishment, I'm trimming my brad down a little bit. You see that? Here's one that wasn't trimmed versus one that's trimmed. Because when I pull it behind, you can't really see that, can you? There we go. When I pull it open behind my flower, I don't want it sticking out behind my flower. I want it to just, be there and not be intrusive. And I probably should have cut it after, there we go, after the fact, because it was being a pill to open the brad. Once again, what, Mama? Oh, the flower? Yeah, it didn't say, "Oh, no, kill me." No, it didn't say that. It's happy flower. Okay. And I hit this with my my little distress hammer, and see how it whacked a hole down, kind of. I like that. I want those in there. So. He fell asleep on his computer. No, it didn't have its brains knocked out. There, that went a lot better. Trim them. And as you see, trimming these with my Tim Holtz scissors. Did you see me then, Mama? Good grief. What's good grief, Lee? Yeah, I like them with the brads. Oh, your husband. Is he snoring? Mine is snoring on the couch. Thanks, Kelly. The smaller ones especially need their little brads opened. Okay, so I've got 3 of these. I think I want them like that. Not on the song. There we go. Okay. And this 3-in-1 glue, it works really good. I mean, because these are silk flowers, and it works really good gluing these down. I use the 3-in-1 glue all the time in my scouting to put the patches on the shirts where I want them before I stitch them on. It helps hold them there. Thanks, Sigrid. I know, I've got like everything stuck here. I can back out. But then it won't be able to find it because, you know, it won't be right under my armpit. But, so here's where we went with that. Whoops, wrong page. Here's where we went with that. Show us the glue bottle. Yes, ma'am. Beacons 3-in-1. Sorry. Advanced glue. You should use that, Lee. It's good stuff. Yes, it is really good. If you have a scout in your life, you need that because it's important. Okay, cool, Bill. So we have those glued on. Okay. So, let's see. I want to do a page with just a quote. Ooh, that looks kind of cool. And the orange. Those are kind of bright. And the neat thing about this paper is that it will all go together. So I could take a piece of blue paper. I think that's what I want, is blue paper. I think the blue will look good on the green, honestly. I like that. And I want to use my mask on this. This is the mask I wanted to use earlier, so I need to move this out of the way a little bit first. Okay, our flowers that we're going to use in a minute. There. Look, we have space again. Woo, space! Okay. This is the mask I was looking for earlier when we did the dragonfly, but I really like the dragonfly too. This mask comes with a clear picture that you can figure out where you want to put it. Okay. And then can you see the mask? It's kind of cut and skinny. It has a adhesive on it that makes it sticky. And really you have like a positive and a negative shape of your thing if you wanted to use them both. When I pull this off, I need to come back in with my poking tool and poke some of these little pieces out, because if I don't, they won't mask. They'll be covered in there, and so it won't get the full effect of the mask. And really, instead of poking it the way I'm doing it, I should poke it the other direction, so that instead of sticking to the back of the mask, it, comes off and comes out of the mask. Because the way I was doing it first, it was sticking to the back of the mask because the mask is adhesive. And this will last for a long time. I've taught classes with these kinds of masks. I have one that is a spider web, and everybody used them. I used them for demos, and they were still super sticky. These are a lot of fun. And they come in huge to small. So, okay. I don't care that all of them are not out. I want some of them to stay in. Okay. I'm going to stick that there. And I want just a hint of this. I don't want it too dark because I'm going to come back over with black ink and stamp a saying. But I want a little bit of color on it. I'll get my frayed burlap, because I live for frayed burlap. And get my dark one that I've been working with. Move my quotes out of the way. Move my quotes out of the way. Okay, frayed burlap. You see, it's just a hint of color. It's not a whole lot of color at all. My black ink, it's over there. It's a white ink pad. No, it's right there. It's right over there. It's a white ink pad with black ink in it. Alright. So here is the mask, and here is the unmasking. Are you ready? Are you ready? Ta-da! Isn't that cool? Uber cool. Okay. And if I wanted to, I could go over it with some Pearl X, but because I want to stamp something on top of it, I don't want to go over it with Pearl X just yet. Okay, for those of you who know me, I've put it all together, and I'm putting it back in the bag. I've now made all of you responsible for knowing where it is. Okay, it's all back in the bag. And for right now, it's going to be in my bling box. Okay? Okay, hang on just a minute. Let me get my black ink. No. 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 It's a Mementos one. Or not Mementos, a Ranger ink one. But I don't see it. Okay. I don't see the one I want to use. So we're going to do the next best thing, which is use a black marker. Night, Amanda. Glad you could be here. Okay. And then stamp this. Thanks, Amanda. I'm going to finish up this page and then finish the rest of it. I need my hot glue gun. I need it plugged in. Finish up the cover real quick and then call it an evening and put the rest of it on our blog so y'all can see it there. It says, friends are those people who know the words to the song in your heart and sing it back to you when you have forgotten the words. And there's hot glue gun.
Little one or big one?
Little one. Not that one, the second floor.
There's flagpole too.
You need to plug it in.
How much glue do you need? Sam.
Just a little. Okay.
Sam.
So here we go. I made a deal with a friend that she would do my nails and I would build her a Facebook fan page and maintain it for her because she's not a techie person, but she sees the need for having that to grow her business, and she is letting me do it. Yay! I think I got the best end of the deal, but you know, I'm good that way. Okay, friends. Okay. And so this page, because I have a picture up here, I'm not going to.
There you go.
You will tell me how awesome I am every day.
Who is it?
Well, I know it's Kelly, because I'm a fan of knitting and things. Okay, I'm going to halt here for a second because I was fixing to put this down here, but in my opinion, this is kind of getting lost. So I want to put a very skinny border piece of cardstock around it in a lighter color, like maybe even, let's see what the yellow looks like. Okay, there's the yellow. Let's see. Now I'll look at the green next to it too. The masks are very, very easy, Kelly. Were you here earlier when I did the using punchies or those outline stickers like Fab uses on his cards? They're just so gorgeous, the gold ones and stuff. those are easy to do too. You don't have to use like Tim Holtz mask. You can use any kind of punchy or die cut or stencil or whatever to mask with. When I first started scrapbooking, I got a whole bunch of these really prettily cut papers, and I mean all kinds of things. They had real lacework looking things, and I think those would make cool stencils too. But those you'd have to be careful with because they are paper that's pretty thin. You'd have to be careful with them soaking all your ink in before you were done with them. Okay, I like the green edge on that, so I'll put that there. Put that there. Actually, I want to put it in the center because I want to touch some ribbon. But I really think instead of ribbon, this needs some of this on it. That's on the back side of this one. Ooh, stripes. Cool. Okay. I think what I'm going to do, and that this has stripes on it is awesome. I'm going to take and wrap this string through here a couple of times. Okay. And then I'm going to tie that. And then I have some buttons I want to put down the side. Perfect. No, those are too green. Imagine that, writing buttons that are too green. You read my mind. That we needed buttons. Or that we needed green buttons. I thought we needed green buttons, but the green buttons are too green. Or a blue button? Blue, okay. Let me see if I can find blue buttons. Since everybody thinks we need blue. Hang on just a second. The blue buttons are on the shelf. Maybe. Okay. The blue buttons are not on the shelf, so we are going to make a blue button. Where'd those beige buttons go? Or gold. I told you, Mommy, I don't have gold. Why do you keep picking on the gold? Either share the gold Or quit mentioning the gold. But I don't have gold. I'm picking out some of the flatter buttons, guys. And I'll show you why in just a second. I agree blue buttons would be good. I don't have blue buttons. So we're going to remedy that tonight. Oh, there's lemon. There we go. Okay. Don't have blue buttons, but I have Sharpies and I have big markers. And so I'm going to get a blue one, not a purple one, a blue one. And there's the green buttons out of the way. I like the green buttons though. The green buttons, they're not fitting that page. I thought I had some too, Mommy, but apparently I've used them all. But you know what? I have a blue marker. And this is just another reason why you should have big markets in your life. So see, if we're making our beige button blue. And if I wanted to, I could have gotten out my alcohol inks. But I realize many of you don't have all kinds of colors of alcohol inks. And that maybe you would benefit from knowing that you could just use your marker and color it. The other thing we could have used to color this, and before you say distress ink, no, we could have used a pigment ink or a crafty ink and heat set it and colored it. And that would have worked. So now I have a blue button and I want some of my brown twine that was just sitting right here. Still sitting right here. Yes, using white sculpting would work too. I'm going to zap this a little bit with the heat tool to heat it up, or to have it move along quicker because it's still a little bit wet. And the nice thing about working on a craft mat, you don't have to worry about it getting hot when you heat like this. Unlike a cutting mat or something for people who work on their cutting mats and don't. By the way, the button is hot. That work on their cutting mats and use the heat tool on it, and it heats up their cutting mat and melts it, and you've wasted a very good cutting mat. Yes, Sandy, you can use a pigment ink, a craft ink. A lot of people have craft ink from Stampin' Up, maybe. And you could color it with that and heat set it. If you wanted it shiny, you could use a little bit of clear emboss powder with it. And that would really shine it up. The if you use clear emboss powder with it, you would want to, I'm using my 3-in-1 glue just to make that knot, or make my yarn quit fraying, so that I could get it through the hole from Beacon. I'll move it down where you can actually see the name, maybe. Yeah. So, but I was having trouble getting it to go through the hole, and so I put a little glue on the end and did that. I love this glue, Pam. I've been using this glue for a couple of years now, and it's really good. It dries paper really fast. It'll go to fabric. It'll go to a lot of different things. I've used it to glue patches on Scout uniforms, whole 9 yards. Okay. Voila, a button. A button that wants to stick to my finger. So I'm going to do a couple of more of those down through there. But because we're already at 10:15, because y'all love what we're doing here, I'm sure. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to glue on my flowers like I wanted before I leave y'all, so you can see me do that. And then I will finish this and put it in my on my blog. My blog is www. No, it's not www. It's http://leslierahye, leslierahye at blogspot.com. I have to pluck up another big flower, because I think my big flower heard Sandy saying things about it and got scared and ran away. So, thank you, Mommy. If you want to be a fan of Leslie Ray, I have a fan page on Facebook. It's Leslie Ray's fan page. I'm in the fairy hop. I have a project today and tomorrow. I'm also in the festive Friday blog hop today, which is for Christmas cards. I love these brown flowers too, Mommy, and they really work well with these colors on Lime Ricky. You tried to leave comments, Kelly? Did you not get to leave comments? Thanks, Sandy. Thanks. I have some cute stuff for tomorrow. I'm redoing a set of fairy wings that I did for my daughter's birthday party. She had a fairy party, and the teaser on the page is a picture of a fairy ring that we made with actual mushrooms, because my yard didn't have mushrooms in them. And so we made a fairy ring with those, and then we made the kids all some of their own fairy wings to wear. And so that's what I'm showing how to make tomorrow, is the fairy wings. And then I have some ideas on how to make fairy houses. One of my favorite things at that party was we had a fairy apartment house made out of cinder blocks, and the cinder blocks were on their sides, and then fairies tend to take things from your house, and so we had a bunch of things from our house, an old cell phone, some rings and things like that, and it was really cool. It was really a lot of fun, and the kids really had fun and really thought, our backyard was very magical and entertaining, so. And then maybe a little bit of pearl, and we'll call this good. What do y'all think? I love the brown too, and there's just enough brown, and with the brown that I've added back in with the ink on the Lime Ricky, I really like how that looks. So those who've been here with me for the last 2.5 hours, wow, guys, time flies, doesn't it? We covered some stuff about inks and stuff. Did y'all enjoy that? Is that something you want to know more about? Oh, thank you, Sigrid. Okay. And do you like intense projects like this? I mean, I know I do. Yes, Bev, the show is still on. Bev, you give me a place to talk, and I will talk forever, apparently. Oh, it's okay, Bev. It's recorded, sweetie, and you can watch it again, okay? If you can get through the southern twang, you can watch it all you want, babe. I like these pearly things, Mommy. My mommy had them, and I said I want them, and she gave them to me. Wasn't that nice of her? Mommy always finds the cool toys. I think we need a flower on that flower. Otherwise, Kelly will call me out on my flower here in a minute, so I need to cover that up. Woohoo. There we go. Tee-hee. So, there we go. Let's get this all folded back under here. All right. And then we have this page here. And then this page, Bev, I'm going to put some buttons down here that I made. And I'm going to keep marking with my pictures and my quotes. I will have available, and I'll put a link on the blog, to the quotes I used. I have a couple of more that I'm going to format and put on there. I'll have a script that we can download. Here, I'll come back up and look at y'all, and y'all can look at me. I'll finish up the book, and I'll take a bunch of pictures of it for you. And I will put online on Scribd a download where you can see kind of how to put the book together with the pictures, the products I use, so you can know that, as well as the quotes that I have, so you can look at that. But I have like these pictures here of my husband and I being silly and funny and carrying on that I'm going to put in there. These are now of us. Wait a minute. Don't you love his eyes? And things like that. So we have a lot of fun together. That's us being nice without him looking all goofy ass. And I'm going to keep using my Lime Ricky stuff up. I have a couple more wedding pictures that I want to put in there. And I have a couple of more quote stamps that I want to use. But I wanted to show you using a couple of those different things. And then also, I wasn't working on orange pages, but I still have all these fun tags that we stamped and stuff that I want to put in there and use with that, like I used with the tag on the cover. So, you know, a way to create your own elements and do fun stuff. And there's my Sam Samantha. And she says hi. So if you have any questions, please feel inbox me or email me. Remember that at cutandpastememories.com we have a 15% off coupon. The 15% off coupon is good until when? Till next year, June 30th, 2012, I think. Right, Mommy? Yes, June 30th, 2012. A whole year, guys. And so I think that is great, great, great. I have a question for y'all. Would y'all want in the future, if we do something with, you know, a specific group of papers or a specific product like the book board, would you want to have a kit available that you could buy? Or are you just like learning the techniques and are not interested in that? Because I'll always teach you techniques that you can translate into something else. Okay. Is it something you would want before the class or after? Would you want it to be available so that you can be touching it while I'm touching it, or before? Okay. After. We're in between. You think before would be nice too? Okay. All right. I think I'll work on doing some stuff like that. I'm very comfortable with the format being an hour and a half to 2 hours. If you would like to do that, then I will continue to do that. Kid along with LR at the crafty gig. And we can do stuff like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. Of course. Why would I not post to the US or to the UK? They get mail too, unlike Canada. Canada doesn't get mail right now. Watch out, excuse me.
I'm leaving.
Okay. Yeah, we will work on that. I'll work on that with Mommy and getting some things together in the store that'll be fun to work with. Anybody have an idea of a price point that they would like to see it at? Because obviously that would determine, yeah, what we put in it. Like, would $40, $45 be too much? $7 to $10? Yeah, we would need to do some. We need to do some kits that would be $7 to $10. I agree. I think that would be very beneficial. Have some smaller projects, but maybe every so often do a couple of bigger projects. Okay. Yeah, let's do some smaller. 30 big kit. Okay. Yeah, I agree though, see, with Mommy and some of the others. We need to have some small projects because there's some small books that we could do that are, you know, cardstock and paper intensive and not chipboard and huge embellishment intensive, that we could do that would be really fun and easy and teach you some simple little bookmaking techniques or mini album text. They're a lot of fun and would be fun to do. And then every so often do something, because something like this would be big. This would be a big kit. But if we did something like the pocket one, where it's mainly some tags and some envelopes and a couple of pieces of cardstock, and you learn how to build the pocketbook, that wouldn't be real expensive. So, yeah, exactly. Okay, let me pause right here so I can close off our video so it can save, and we can talk for just a second. Thank you very much for coming. I really enjoyed sharing this with you and sharing some techniques with Distress Inks. I hope you enjoyed watching and staying with us for this whopping 2.5 hours. As you can see, we're learning to make several different things and kind of to get our feet wet and do some stuff that I want to do, things that I enjoy, but I want you to learn and enjoy them too, and that's the whole point. So having a kit to work with or whatever would be a great way to work together, and you can actually feel and touch it while I'm feeling and touching it. So that's it. Our next show is going to be July the 8th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just really kind of learned time zones, so I'm really good at that. And so if you have any other questions, please let me know. My son Will is doing a class tomorrow at 8 Central Standard Time, and that class will be on drawing and colored pencils, and he is very excited and would appreciate any support that you would like to give. I will post another link to that on my fan page, so everybody who's a fan can come and watch and chime in and give him all the love he needs. So I appreciate you all. Well, thank you for coming, and we will definitely tape that one too for you. Okay. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you soon. Okay, I've stopped the broadcast. I need to, it's going to come up and ask me to save some stuff real quick here, guys. I hope it does.